This is Golf with Jay Delsing. A two-time All-American at UCLA. Competed in nearly 700 PGA Tour events, 7 professional wins to his credit. Over 30 years of professional golf experience. A member of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame and the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Welcome into Golf with Jay Delsing, and with Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Another show is upon us, and we have Brian Maine coming up, Director of Golf at Whitmoor Country Club. More importantly, though, what he's done for PGA Hope. Also, Allie Wells, Executive Director of the Gateway PGA and the PGA Reach Gateway Foundation. She's doing incredible work away from the golf course. Matter of fact, she never gets out there because she's always in the office doing things. But looking forward, Jay, to visiting with Brian and Allie.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Danny. Good to be with you this morning. And, yeah, you know, Allie is kind of the hub for golf here and taking care of so many different things. And Brian Maine has been a guy that has just been doing really cool stuff for a long, long time, and it's about time somebody, give him some acknowledgement. He's got a heart for the PGA Hope and for our Patriots, and also loves the game. So, he's knocking it out of the park everywhere he goes.
As we do, we go through the news and notes throughout the show from the PGA Tour and the world of golf. And a great note here, Gary Woodland named the recipient of the PGA Tour Courage Award, surviving brain surgery, and receiving that award this past week.
It's been a hard journey for me. The last couple of years has been really hard. And receiving this is a testament to the people around me. Because there's no way, one, I'd be back playing, or no way I'd be sitting here today if it wasn't for them. And it means everything for me to receive it, but it really belongs to the people around me. It's been hard for me to share my journey, but I've done it for the sole purpose of trying to help people. Because I am blessed with amazing family and my team around me, and even the golf world. I mean, from the tour, players, caddies, to you guys. The love and support I've had has been amazing, and it pains me to think that somebody's out there going through something and doesn't have that much support. And hopefully they can see me or see my story and realize that I battle it every day too. And they can see me and say, if that guy can do it, I can do it. And I'm very blessed to have my family and my team and the golf world behind me, and this award is for all of them. A
very emotional Gary Woodland, and somebody, Jay, that I know you're proud of and proud to call him a friend.
Oh, absolutely, Danny. He's a friend of the show. He's just a great guy. He's he's a Kansas boy. He's just down to earth. And, Danny, think about what happened to him. He didn't have a cancerous growth, but he had a growth nonetheless on his brain.
Baseball-sized incision.
In the area, exactly. And Danny, in the area of his brain that controls fear and some of these different emotions. And he said to me, he goes, man, I'd wake up at night and I thought I was going to die. And I was just afraid. I kept fearing that I was going to die. And I didn't, and it didn't necessarily. Now, the tumor was making him think like that because it was affecting that area of his brain, but it wasn't, he's like, I knew this wasn't going to, from a logical standpoint, I knew this wasn't going to kill me, but this thing just had his emotions running all over the place. And Danny, so he was not sleeping. It was so unrestful and so unsettling that, boy, I got to tell you, if you want to root for somebody on the PGA Tour, Gary Woodland is your guy. You will not find a more grounded, down to earth guy than Gary Woodland. I mean, he's the best, and he's a U.S. Open champ, Danny. He's just a hell of a guy.
And he also can play, as he made cuts now, and that's something that stands out too. It's one thing to make it back; it's another thing to be competitive, and he's making cuts.
Yeah, absolutely. He's man, I got to tell you, he's just one of the good guys. It's good to see him out there. He's had a couple of top 20 finishes. So there's not only is he making cuts, he's competing, and so his juices are flowing. I was texting him earlier this week because I saw that award that he won. It was an emotion. I know you said the same thing. It was emotional just to watch it. I mean, his wife is a rock star. They've got 3 kids. And, I guess there was a time when before this thing got diagnosed, he was like, man, what's wrong with me? Like what's happening? I'm kind of feel like I'm losing my mind here.
Pretty amazing story.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of an amazing story, too. Let's go back to last weekend in Mexico. Brian Campbell's win. Never won on the Korn Ferry, never had a top 10 on the PGA Tour. He wins that event, and that is life-changing for him.
Danny, that tree, did you see hits it?
In the playoff. So let's describe it. He puts it right, hits the tree, winds up getting a fortuitous bounce, and he's in the fairway.
It's going out of bounds, and it's just he and Pultgeider in the playoff, and this guy has just crushed it a mile down the fairway, and he's got a iron in on this par 5, and Campbell is not a long hitter, and so he's got to try to go after it. He squirrels it off to the right, and if it doesn't hit the tree, it's going to go out of bounds. It's automatic loss. It hits the tree. Comes down, he hits it out, wedges it to 3 feet. This other fella misses the green, hits it to 5 feet, misses his putt. Campbell taps it in. Hello, Masters. Hello, $2 million? Hello, 2 years on the PGA Tour. Hello, winner on the PGA Tour. Danny, I couldn't believe it. And it was a really great contrast in the way 2 guys go after the golf course, because this young South African, I mean, how about the speed on that dude? 200 ball speed, Danny, just bombing it. And this guy's one of the shorter guys on tour, so you still got to get the ball in the hole and you got to figure it out. And so it was good to see, and the emotion that he and his wife did. They did a little tribute to the tree. I don't know if you saw that with bottle of champagne. And so, that's a feel-good story. It's good for him. And, Danny, who knows what that can do for a career?
You're right. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening this weekend. It's in the Palm Beaches, PGA National. So I'm watching today, Jay. Yep. What should I be watching out for at PGA National?
Oh, man, Danny, basically the bear trap is what gets all of the recognition. It's the last 4 holes, and Jack Nicklaus, so Danny, the biggest thing to look out for is wind. If the wind blows, good luck. Put your seatbelt on. You got to bring it. There's a par 5, and the last hole's a par 5, and it's without question the easiest hole of the lot. But man, the par 3s, you can lose the tournament with one, not even just a marginal swing, because the wind blows in such a direction that he makes those tee shots really, really demanding.
And on Thursday, the wind was not blowing.
No.
Jake Knapp shoots a 59, puts that in his back pocket.
That's Danny. I have played that golf course before. Now, conditions as they were early in the week. I was actually down in Florida earlier in the week. They got a significant amount of rain, which meant the greens were going to be soft and a little slower, but more importantly, the fairways were not going to be so runny. And so that just means effectively, Danny, that makes those fairways wider for those players. And think about what I just said, wider for them. They half the time they don't care about hitting the fairway anyway, but if you make them wider because the ball's not going to roll off into the rough, it's going to be a free-for-all, man.
What about overseeding and how that affects a golf course and maybe affecting what we see down in this Florida swing?
Yeah, theirs has been overseeded a long, long time ago. So the Bermuda grass, Danny, goes dormant in the wintertime. So when it gets below a certain temperature, it goes dormant. So they'll overseed with rye. That's that deep, dark green grass you see. It's very thin bladed, easy, fun to play out of, in a good surface. And I don't believe, though, they've overseeded the greens. I think those greens are just a form of Bermuda, and the players absolutely love the greens, especially after you've been on the West Coast, Danny, where you're playing in some lousy weather. You got that seaside poana that gets bumpy. You see more players miss short putts on the West Coast than all year long, and then they go to Florida, and man, they're going to start hooping. So I can't wait. I can't wait to watch today.
So you were down in Florida. How did you compete? How'd we do? How'd the back hold up? How we feeling?
The back held up pretty decent. I got some pain still, but that's to be expected. What did you say about one of the other questions? Could you ask me something else? Because I think you used the word compete in there, and I would not say what I did. So I have not played golf in 4 months.
That's a long time for you.
Danny,
did it feel that way?
4 years. The first day I got out and I shot 73, which wasn't bad. Now, we weren't playing at a long course, but the wind was blowing. So it felt like a lot to me,
I bet.
And so I made some nice, hit some nice shots. Then I went out and played the following day. There were no nice shots.
You told me you missed, what was it, 4
putts inside of 5 feet the first day. I should have been. I could have been under par.
That shouldn't go away from you.
Oh man,
you're a short game genius.
Long way away. Bye. See you later. Where did you go? I don't have any feel. I felt like my hands had catcher's mitts on them. It was ugly.
We're going to talk about short game later in the show and some of the things that you can do to practice with that. I thought this was significant this week, Jay, and it flew under the radar, but Valspar announced a 5-year extension with the PGA Tour. And I think that it's significant because sponsors don't know what the future holds, at least at this point, with the PGA Tour and LIV and some of the entities that are trying to come together. So Valspar steps up and says, here's a 5-year extension. I think that's kind of a significant point.
Oh, my gosh, 100%, Danny. In a time where we don't know how much money we're asking for, I mean, they're going to have some parameters, and I'm sure that Valspar is going to get an elevated event or two in that 5-year time frame if – this is a big if. There even is elevated events after this year.
Yeah, good point.
I don't even know, Danny, because I can tell you one thing. This is crazy. But the way the PGA Tour sits today, we do not have sufficient amount of money to cover the calendar the way it's going. We don't. We have reserves, and we're into the reserves, and we can't cover it for the 5-year period if something doesn't change. I don't know if that means Saudi money's going to come in. I don't know if that means SSG, and that group is going to come in with a significant money. Now, SSG has already come in with a $3 billion investment. Now, that might, I don't know exactly how that money is shaking out. This drives me crazy.
I know it does.
It just drives me crazy. We're talking about money so much. And I mean, I'm glad I don't begrudge the purses, but it's just like it's just overwhelmed the game, man.
It has.
It's we had President Trump involved with Jay Monahan and Adam Scott. Tiger Woods came up. I heard when I was in Florida, I talked to a few people. I heard there is a basic deal in place. And basically, it's going to look like this. There's only a real handful of the LIV players that the tour cares about coming back.
For sure.
Koepka, DeChambeau, probably Patrick Reed, Cameron Smith, and probably DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, Sergio,
Phil,
they're down the road.
Yeah,
down the road. You got
Bubba
Westwood, Bubba Watson. They're over that 40 mark by a significant amount. So I was told that it means that the guys are going to come back and they're going to be like, well, good for you. You took the LIV money And what I don't understand, why this is mostly significant now, Danny, is that these contracts are expiring. And we know that.
Yeah.
We know that Phil's was for 4 years. We don't know many details, but we do know that there was a significant time par per se on these contracts. And so, that means if something doesn't get done, then the Saudis got to get back into their pocket. Now, that might mean nothing to them. I have been told that the Saudis do not like throwing money where they don't see it making a difference. So I don't know. The biggest question is, Danny, what do the Saudis get in return?
Sure.
Okay, great. The players are coming back. Great. What does that mean? Are we going to play a couple of events in Riyadh? Are we going to, we're going to play something over there? What are we do? Are we going to have a PIF series and say that's going to consist of, 7 tournaments and they're going to be invitationals and they're going to be worldwide events? I'm making it up. I've heard it all. I don't know.
And you're sick of hearing it, too.
Tired of it.
Tired of it, for sure.
Tired. Listen, make all the money you can, players. You know me as well as anybody in the whole wide world. I don't care about that. I don't. But I'm tired of, let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the great stuff about the game, not what the players are making anymore. Tired of it.
And that's what we're going to do coming up next. Allie Wells, the executive director of the Gateway PGA, and also Brian Maine coming up later in the show, director of golf at Whitmoor and intimately involved with PGA Hope, which is just a remarkable program that they have for our veterans. All that is coming up on Golf with Jay Delsing.
On the tee from Sweden, Annika Sörenstam.
Hi, this is Annika, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. To connect with Jay, log on to jdelsinggolf.com. You'll see the latest in equipment, find the latest innovations in golf, and get tips from a PGA professional. That's jdelsinggolf.com.
You've heard me talking about the APT this year, but I want to help break down what this tour is all about. Firstly, it's the Amateurs Players Tour. I was lucky and privileged to have played golf on the PGA Tour, golf's highest level, so I know what it's like to have a real strong and fair competition. For amateur golf, this is absolutely the closest thing to PGA Tour style golf in terms of fairness of handicaps and the competition. Secondly, APT is the largest amateur tour in the country. In just over 6 years, Matt Minder and his team have over 7,000 members with over 44 local chapters spread across the country. The Amateur Players Tour runs over 800 800 tournaments a year. 800. That number alone tells you that they are doing something right. They play some premium golf courses around the country like Paynes Valley, Kiowa Island Ocean Course, and Torrey Pine South, and many more. Go to amateurplayerstour.com and find out for yourself. That's amateurplayerstour.com.
Golf with Jay Delsing is presented by SSM Health and Rehabilitation, Whitmoor Country Club, CarShield, and Darty Business Solutions. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
When you're in the market for a new car, there's only one place that I go, and that's Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. Please call Colin Byrne over there. He's fantastic. His number is 314-966-0303. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood will treat you like your family. Not sure you want to buy a car? The Dean Team Volkswagen has the area's largest selection of pre-owned vehicles for lease or purchase. Colin found my Yukon that I'm driving today, and I love it. It's the best vehicle I've ever driven. My daughter Jo is on her third Volkswagen. She just took her car to service to get an oil change, and she said to me, and I'm quoting, "Dad, these guys are so nice, and they took such great care of me. They made sure her car was in great shape to get her back to school." Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is Emma Corbett, Director of Player Development with Elevate Golf. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Golf with Jay Delsing rolls on as we shed a light on some of the great things that people are doing to promote golf and also the charitable aspect of golf. We're going to have Brian Maine coming up later in the show, Director of Golf at Whitmoor. PGA Hope is something very near and dear to his heart, and someone that's made a difference in our community, as well as Allie Wells, Executive Director of the Gateway PGA and PGA Reach Gateway Foundation. Allie, great to have you on the show. Thanks for coming on.
Always love coming on. Thank you both for having me.
You know, Allie, it's so interesting when you think about our section for someone like me who's lived here my whole life, and I have had someone in this Gateway section touching my life, my golf, and as a young kid, and didn't even give a rip about thinking about who was doing what. How did these golf balls get here? How did this tournament get run so well? And manage the rain, all of these things. And now I've been able to kind of jump in with you guys. And Allie, it is, I keep thinking the term "it takes a village" is so appropriate here, because you had this section and do such a great job at our meetings and allocating and just making sure things get done. But this section is big and strong, and it is so many different moving parts.
We really are. And what's amazing too is our section, PGA section size, both in numbers of PGA members and in geographical footprint, is actually one of the smaller in the country. We're of 41, we're number 10. We like to say we're the 30th largest instead of the 10th smallest, just to make ourselves feel good. But we definitely have a high output as far as what our PGA professionals do on a day-to-day basis in the community, running programs, like you said, Jay, developing tournaments. And it really does take a village from the section standpoint. From my chair is how we operate, as we exist to serve those PGA members, to help them do their day-to-day jobs even better, whether it's providing resources, providing education, providing career services, providing tournament programs. And then our philanthropic arm, our foundation, PGA Reach Gateway, gives avenues for PGA professionals to volunteer in the community. And they do that through youth, military, and inclusion programs. And when you add all of that together, our PGA members are busy. They have full-time jobs in their golf course, and then they're out, in this little spare time they have, teaching PGA Hope military veterans programs, and coaching PGA Junior League programs, and volunteering at children's hospitals through PGA ABLE programs. It really is amazing what a dedicated group of, just under 400 men and women can do in a given year and the impact they can make in the community.
So right now we're getting ready for golf season. What is that like for you? What's on the docket? What's on your desk of trying to go through all the different things that you have to go through?
And we only have 2 hours, Allie.
Okay. Well, I'll throw away this sheet of paper that has a list of it on it, and I'll just hit the highlights. We run, the Gateway PGA section and the PGA Reach Gateway Foundation, from the programming that we run out of this office, is a really robust junior tour. And in the spring and the fall shoulder seasons, we have tournaments 1 day a week for juniors as young as 7 all the way up to 18. And those move around to different facilities each week. In the summer, we have programs 5 days a week. And oftentimes we have tournaments at 2 different locations going on at the same time, serving different ages of juniors. So our junior golf team is about two and a half people here in the office. And they're making final preparations for setting our tournament schedule. We're hiring a slate of 10 interns that will come and support. Our memberships, our junior tour memberships are coming in left and right. We're getting ready for annual tea gift packages and communications, things like that. Also in the junior golf space, we run drive, chip, and putt qualifiers. We'll run 7 of those in a 2.5 month period of time. And we're getting ready to run our PGA Junior League program. So PGA professionals all over the area are having members sign up for PGA Junior League programs that will take place spring, summer, and fall. So we're providing communication channels. We're helping our PGA members get those resources that they need. And then on our section side, for our PGA professionals, we run competitive tournament programs starting in March all the way through October. So similar, we're playing all of those tournaments. We're getting members up and running to compete for the year-long tournament Player of the Year purses. And we're also providing education and career service and membership services so that they can be armed with tools and resources to provide the best community and member service, whether it's a public or private facility, to their constituents on a day-to-day basis. And then you sprinkle in the middle all the other, little things that we do throughout the year, some of our philanthropic impacts that we have in the community. We have a fellowship program that we run out of the office here. I mentioned before we have hospital or programs at children's hospitals through PGA ABLE programs. So we're finding available days on the calendar and seeing what we can do to make an impact in the community.
Allie, what's really interesting when you talk about, you kind of put a bow on all those things that you just talked about. Some of the members that we have here are really getting some national notice. We have Nathan Carnes, who's just an absolute another feather in our cap in terms of human beings, and he will happen to be the 45th president of the PGA of America in about a year and a half. Then we have Mike Surrey and what he's done for junior development, and then we've got John DePriest, who's also nationally recognized and won a national award for what he's done with PGA Hope. So under that umbrella, you have these guys that are getting recognized on a big level, and it all can come back and look at, and reflect so positively on you, on us, the community, the support they're getting. It's just a great time in this area for the Gateway, for the game, and for all of us.
It really is. And a major focus of ours is helping promote the PGA professional in the community, both the value of what they bring day in and day out to their facilities, to their ownership or to their golfing public, but also trying to promote, among peers and share stories about how professionals are making impacts in the community. And that includes, trying to provide inroads to media opportunities like this. And Nathan, being vice president of the PGA of America, is the first time a Gateway PGA member has ever held a national officer seat at the PGA of America. John DePriest winning the PGA of America National Patriot Award was the first time we had a Gateway PGA member ever win a national award. And then followed up back-to-back years with Mike Surrey winning National Youth Player Development Award, both from the Edwardsville area, small community, back-to-back years, is really incredible. And we overturn every rock we can to find these cool stories and these impacts that these PGA professionals are making in the community, and try and tell that story on the largest mountain as loud as we can. And when people start hearing, hey, Gateway might be a small section, but we really punch above our weight, and our PGA members are passionate about what they do. And telling those stories is really helping to get the word out, helping momentum, continue to increase and grow, and getting those stories elevated outside of just our Gateway section boundaries to really a national level.
Allie Wells is our guest, Executive Director of the Gateway PGA on Golf with Jay Delsing. I'm assuming, Allie, as you tell us all these different things on the philanthropic aspect or side of this, you probably get a lot more out of it than those that you help. On a personal level, it just must mean a lot to you.
It really does. It's one of the greatest joys of my life is to feel privileged enough to have a job and a career that I absolutely love. I get to wake up every morning, come to work, and know that the work that we do here impacts thousands of lives. And whether that's through our PGA professionals and helping improve their career prospects and their livelihoods and better position them to do the job that they're so passionate about, or providing access points for our members to impact and improve lives, and in many cases, save lives in the community through our foundation program. So I take the work that we do here very seriously. But you're exactly right. It's an absolute joy to get to do what we do, and that's motivation to wake up the next day and to try a little bit harder.
Excuse me. Allie, what's really cool in a time where the golfing public, the weekend warriors, everyone, our numbers have never been better. We've got the only kind of blemish in the entire game of golf is the men's game, which is completely out of balance, out of whack. All we're talking about is money and things like that. But Allie, one of the things that I think about and feel about when I think about the men's game, when I think about, maybe are we rolling back the golf ball? Is that a good thing to do or not? The PGA of America has kind of been our north. They've done such a great job. We didn't lose. Seth Waugh stepped down, and now we have Derek Sprague taking over, and he's going to do a great job. But the PGA of America has kind of been the real steadying influence in the game. And when you look at what the Junior League has done, Allie, and then when you look at what we've done for the veterans, I mean, there's so much to get excited about.
There really is. And the PGA of America and PGA professionals, we really do consider ourselves the experts in the game and the business of golf. And there are a lot of fantastic players in the golf business and the golf industry nationwide. There really are. And the PGA of America, what we're dedicated to is on a boots on the ground, day-to-day level at public and private and resort facilities all over the country, serving our constituents, serving the golfing public, trying to create the best playing experiences and opportunities for kids at their very introductory level and families all the way up to lifelong golfers. And what other sport, can say that they're a sport for anyone at all times in their game. And we take that very seriously, and we prioritize resources that enable our PGA professionals to do just that. Player development programs, easy entry access points to the game. And I think that that's one of the reasons you're seeing the game stay at, such a high interest level right now is COVID certainly helped. Golf was one of the few things we could do. It was an outside sport, but it's a sport for families. It's a sport for young kids. And we're prioritizing that focus at the PGA of America and making sure that when we say we're the experts in the game and the business of golf, that we're backing that up. And we're doing everything that we can do at a section and PGA of America level to make sure that our professionals are best positioned to do that.
Allie, what has Ozzie Smith meant to you and what you guys do?
And it's hard to put into words and summarize all that Ozzie has done. From a title standpoint, he's the president of PGA Reach Gateway Foundation, and he has been for many years. I think maybe 14, 15 years, something like that. But
you're going to run out of superlatives. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, I am. He is, He's incredible. He's an ambassador for the game. He's an ambassador for the city of St. Louis, here where he lives and where the section is headquartered. He has opened a tremendous amount of doors for our foundation. He's been a voice to the community, to the golfing community on behalf of the Gateway PGA section and its PGA professionals. And he's not just a face. I mean, he rolls up his sleeves. He's very involved. He comes out and starts for our PGA Junior Tour tournaments, and he shows up and helps for our PGA Hope programs, and he's at our board of directors meetings. I mean, he's an incredible ambassador. He's a door opener, and he's just a fantastic friend.
He is a friend to so many people, and you're helping so many kids. This is a tough question. Do you have a favorite story with the kids that you help or the veterans that you help? Is there one that comes to mind that you say, man, that was impactful for me, and I bet if people hear this, it would be impactful for them?
Oh yeah, shoot. There's so many, and not saying names, but we've had more, unfortunately, more than I can count. But we've had veterans that have participated in our PGA Hope programs that have given us feedback in one of a few different ways to say, look, I didn't know that I would like golf. I didn't know that I would really enjoy this. I kind of showed up. And now I look forward to this every time. I have a reason to get out of bed. We've had kids participate in some of our junior golf programs in St. Louis, in the city of St. Louis, who have said, hey, I really didn't see a future for myself after I graduated high school, and I was contemplating ending my life, and PGA Reach has changed my mind, and I'm still here. We really do impact lives, and in some cases, and in many cases, we save lives. So, that might be the tug at the heartstrings, the sad but hey, happy. But there's so many others. You go out to some of our junior golf programs or PGA Junior League, and you see these humongous smiles on these kids' faces, and they're just having the time of their life, or they're out there with mom and dad. And some of our military veterans in our PGA Hope programs that, they're building camaraderie with their fellow veterans and, crossing service lines and going up and giving high fives and razzing each other. So there's so many stories of impact. Some of those are maybe harder to hear, but necessary. And some just put a tremendous smile on your face.
Allie, it's hard to say when you look at the sheer number in the junior league. It's hard not to smile because that's the next generation, and it couldn't be in better hands. The numbers, I mean, what Mike Surrey's doing, what Adam Betts is doing down at Family Golf and Learning Center, it's happening everywhere. I mean, Danny and I see these kids, and they're wearing their, little uniforms, and they're out with a buddy, and it's super fun. And then when you also flip to the veterans and see what golf is providing. I had no idea, Allie, that the game, it shouldn't surprise me because the game is so giving and it does so much for our society and so much for our community. But when those veterans, when they have a sense that they belong, because it seems to me like one of the things they struggle with most when they try to come back, it's neat to see, man. It's really hard to explain.
It really is. And to your first point about PGA Junior League, it really being an amazing program, and it's grown leaps and bounds since it's only been in existence for 10 or so years. And so to your point, we have a small community. You gave a couple of examples of some of our members, Adam and Mike, that have great programs. And there's a member, Don Kepper. He's in Carlisle, Illinois, and he has one of the largest programs in the country. But, participation per capita is a way above average. And our PGA Hope programs, yes, you're right. It gives a sense of community, a sense of belonging, activity. And we've even drilled down deeper into that to say, how can we provide more or different services? And about 3 years ago, we started a women's only PGA Hope program because we noticed that there was a need and a request for that. And that's been held over in the Edwardsville, Illinois area, and has been a tremendous success. We're starting play days this year to make sure that once a veteran is introduced to the game and part of the PGA Hope community, that there's a next step, a next level for them to continue their golf journey. So we work every day to see how much more we can invest and how can we, continue to provide entry and continuing access points for through the game of golf.
What's neat, Allie, too, is I was talking to Matt Minder, who supports the show, and you know him well at Amateur Players Tour. And they have a big presence here in the Gateway section and do a lot of neat things. We know some of the funding for Hope has been kind of put on the back burner from a national level because of some other things that have come up. And Matt has been kind enough to work with Kevin over at Ambrier, and we're going to do a little event where we're going to raise money specifically for our PGA Hope programs here in the Gateway section, so we can try to continue helping these heroes, these men and women that need us. And so it's really neat how just within some of the folks like you have so graciously sponsored the show at Gateway, and so has Matt Minder, but kind of working together to try to, keep going and keep the programs going that we all so much believe in.
Absolutely. And we couldn't be more grateful for that help as well. And isn't that the beautiful thing about the golf community? And when a need arises, we step up and we help each other. And yes, PGA Hope funding from a national standpoint might not be growing as much as it has been in the past few years, but that's not something we anticipate to continue to, right? I mean, we're trying to grow to fill the need here. And if the funding from, the PGA of America and other avenues isn't keeping up with our trajectory, then that's not going to stop us. How do we raise those dollars locally? How do we find local support? So you're exactly right. And that's the beautiful thing about the golf community is we're terrific about banding together and filling the need.
Allie, it's always going to come down to money and funding. That's important. You got to have money to do these kind of things. So what is the best way for someone that's listening to donate or to get in contact with you to find out more?
Well, we would love any form of support that anyone would want to give, time, talent, or treasure. GatewayPGA.org is our website, gatewaypga.org. We have a lot of information on our foundation, PGA Reach Gateway, on that website. There's a button you can click to donate there too, but we have contact information for individuals on our staff, myself, our Director of Community Engagement and Development. So we'd be happy to entertain any area or avenue of support that anyone would like to give. But gatewaypga.org, you can find information about our PGA professionals, our programs, our foundation impact, and you can make a donation if you're so inclined, which we would greatly appreciate.
Awesome stuff. Executive Director of the Gateway PGA, that's Allie Wells. Allie, thanks for joining us. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you both.
Hello, friends. This is Jim Nance, and you are listening to Golf with my friend Jay Delsing.
Do you realize that the Gateway section and the over 350 men and women are here to serve you in any way they can? Whether it's running your member guest, getting the driving range prep for your next practice session, or maybe just you and your girl getting in a quick 9 and then dinner after work. The Gateway PGA professionals are here for you. I bet you didn't realize the Gateway section, one of the 41 sections around this great country, has been rated in the top 3 in many of the most important categories. Your Gateway, or Great Way section, as it's affectionately known, is here for you to help you any way possible. The Gateway section of PGA Golf Professional, here to assist you with all of your golfing needs. You can visit them at gatewaypga.org and make sure you look for some of these other cool programs. PGA Reach, the PGA Junior League, or the award-winning PGA Hope program that helps our veterans. That's the Gateway PGA of America, here for you.
Family Golf and Learning Center. No matter your age or skill level, Family Golf and Learning Center, located in Kirkwood, has something for you. They've got it all. PGA and LPGA instruction, double-decker driving range, par 3 golf course, TrackMan simulators, a large short game green design to help you with all your shots around the green, bunkers, rough, and Zoysia fairway pitching. And now open, the Tahoma Bermuda Grass Tees, the best turf to hit from in St. Louis. It's all at Family Golf and Learning Center. To schedule a lesson or to find out more, visit FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
Recently, my nephew called me and said his basement had flooded and all the hardwood, carpet, and flooring had to be replaced. I told him I have the perfect place for you to go. At Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture, this second-generation family-owned business treats everyone just like their family. Jared Capps is continuing his mom and dad's 50-year business tradition where honesty, transparency, and service carry the day. My nephew loved the luxury vinyl product. Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture has the largest selection in the area. Whether you prefer Mohawk and the wide variety of their product lines, I love the Rev Wood product, by the way, or Karastan or Pergo Elements line, Jerseyville Flooring and Furniture will literally have you covered. You have pets? Let Jared tell you about the many sustainable flooring and carpet options that are pet-friendly but also easily maintained to keep your floors looking great every day. And don't forget about their huge selection of Lazy Boy recliners. They are awesome and one of the biggest selections in the Midwest. Call them today at 618-936-0536 and get your free estimate or set up a consultation with one of their experts. You can also go to JerseyvilleCarpetAndFurniture.net. Proud sponsor of Golf with Jay Delsing.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient, it's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Manno's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield.
Are you tired of watching your golf scores go up every year? Despite new equipment and even a couple lessons, you still fight that slice or your inability to get that ball up and down out of the bunker? Well, get ready to experience better golf with Elevate Golf. At Elevate Golf, we're changing the way golfers practice with our innovative and data-driven approach to learning and, most importantly, improving. We have an array of membership options where you can find the perfect fit for your golf, your lifestyle, and your budget. Whether you start in our full-service gym, the short game area that has real sand bunker, or one of our 7 TrackMan simulator bays, the team at Elevate Golf will do a complete assessment of you and your game, which is crucial because if you don't know where you're starting from, it's nearly impossible to attain a goal or a new level. Call us today at 636-265-0557 or visit us at elevategolf.com. That's ELV, the number 8, golf.com. Contact us today and get ready to play better golf.
This is Matt Minder with the Amateur Players Tour, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Golf with Jay Delsing rolls on from the Car Shield Studios, is always brought to you by Daugherty Business Solutions. Coming up a little later in the show, we're going to talk about practice for your short game, and that is a specialty of Jay Delsing's. And also coming up, we'll visit with Brian Maine. He's just standing outside our studio. He's the director of golf at Whitmoor and involved intimately in PGA Hope. So looking forward to visiting with Brian Maine. I also enjoyed our visit with Allie Wells. What'd you take away from Allie and the difference she's trying to make in our community through golf?
Oh gosh, Danny, so much. I mean, it's when I was joking around saying we only have 2 hours, you just don't appreciate. Let me rephrase that. I just didn't appreciate how significant the tasks are on her desk every single day. So I have been asked to join the group, and I've really enjoyed it. I've been to 3 meetings, I think, so far. And, I'm not a huge meeting guy, but
I've noticed.
I'm trying to, I want to help. I want to try to do something for this area and the game that's done so much for me. And now is the time I have so it's been really fun and eye-opening, Danny, more than anything. I mean, right now, Gideon Smith, who is a great guy, it's going to definitely come on the show. He is the director of golf up at Quincy Country Club. And he is also, Danny, the president of the section. And our dear buddy, Adam Betts, over at Family Golf and Learning Center, he is, I think Adam is the vice president. So I do believe that Adam's going to be the next president, which is going to be great because Adam is switched on. But I'm just listening to these guys, they present, there's some committees that they had, and it's various things, but they cover a lot. I think right now Adam's job is basically financial, and so he's dealing with a lot of the financial stuff and trying to, tell us, here's, this is getting spent here and how, and it's all been approved by the board and things like that. But Gideon runs the meetings, and there's an agenda, and I mean, Danny, just putting the agenda together for the meetings is, there's 45 items on there, and there's within each item is a story. I mean, and there's country clubs involved. There's golf courses involved that are, public, and it's just a lot. And so, trying to balance what Allie does with the PGA professional, these men and women, and there's almost 400 of them now, and also trying to keep PGA reach, with the great Ozzie Smith, and trying to just balance all that. It's I don't know how she does it.
Well, one of those aspects is PGA Hope, and we'll get into that with Brian Maine coming up. Looking forward to that. All right, some news and notes as we continue talking about that throughout the show. We just sprinkle these things in. I'm a big fan of TGL.
Yeah.
Which is the simulator league for people that don't know.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest names in golf. The one thing I think they have figured out, Jay, is, and it's taken a while, is chipping.
They have figured it out.
They have figured this thing out.
Balls are going in from all over the place. But, Danny, remember the first couple of episodes? You're like,
yeah, guys are flying it all over the place.
Oh, my gosh. Colin Morikawa, had this little shot right off the green and hit 30 feet past. I'm like, you're never going to see that again. And there was a bunch. There were quite a few guys trying to figure it out. But we said on the show they were going to figure it out. They are pitching balls in from everywhere.
I want to tip our cap right now, and the tip of the cap is brought to you by
the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. It's 314-966-0303. That's Colin Burnt and his team over there. They're terrific. They'll treat you like family. Give them a call. They'll hook you up.
Let's tip our cap to Elevate, because you and I, about 10 days ago, went on the simulators over there. We had some fun, so we're going to tip our cap to Elevate.
We are tipping our cap to Elevate. We've got Zach Conlon. We got Tyler Lowenstein out there. We've got Kyle Laramie. That's his group that he's put together and his team, and Zach is running it. And Danny, we've been over there, and we've seen more kids running around. We've seen Emily Corbett, who we need to also tip our cap to Emily. She has just gotten engaged, which is terrific, and she was on the show last week. She is also running the junior development piece for the Elevate folks out there. So Elevate is doing absolutely great. We have to mention our success story, our local friend, Steve Burke, who's added 13 miles an hour to his club speed, and we love Berkey. And so we just love what Elevate's doing. It's providing, a place in the winter for folks to get better at their game. We're watching young kids in there. Your daughter, Avery, not only plays out there, she works out there.
Right. She loves it.
Yep, she works out there. We saw Cole Packingham. He was out there. He's getting ready for his high school season. We got to get him on the show. So, yeah, it's what they're doing at Elevate's taking off. It's absolutely taking off. The memberships are they're doing just incredibly well. I got a picture from Emma last Saturday, Danny, and there were so many junior players over there. It was unbelievable. So the hats off to them. They are rocking and rolling. It looks really great.
And that's our tip of the cap.
Brought to you by Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. 314-966-0303. Colin Birch, you guys. Call him. He'll take you. He'll take good care of you.
Now, when Tiger's playing, your ratings are going to be up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for TGL, they're starting to come down a little bit, and that's okay because I still think people are being introduced either to the game of golf, or the casual fan stops and watches, or for nerds like us, we'll stop and watch the whole episode. I call it an episode, but the whole show, if you will. Ratings down, so what? Golf is on your TV on a particular TV station, which happens to be ESPN.
100%, Danny. And look at when they're putting it on. We didn't even have golf ratings on a Monday or Tuesday.
Exactly.
And so all of this can be looked at, and they spin things all the time, but it's a lot. To me, it's just more golf. Now, is SoFi happy? I don't know. They put up a big, big number for this, but it's really going to be interesting to see how this plays out, and it comes down to the playoffs, and it would really suck if Tiger's team doesn't make the playoffs, but right now they're on the outside looking in. It doesn't look good.
By a wide margin.
Not good,
now, I'll give you something that's good, though, and I'm trying to figure out why, and maybe you have a theory as to why. The ratings so far on the PGA Tour, though, on NBC, CBS, those are up. Those are way up compared to this time last year. Maybe it's because, and this is my theory, maybe because you are starting to recognize some of the names now that are back for another year, even though you've had this departure of some of the biggest names, which would lead me to believe why ratings would be down. But now you have an influx of young talent mixed in with Rory and Scotty Scheffler and some of these great players. But now you start to know some of these names and you want to watch. And I wonder if that's the attraction to get ratings back up.
Danny, it might be. It's hard to tell. I did not see the ratings from Mexico. I can't believe they'd be overly.
They were decent.
Yeah, they were decent.
But this time last year, they're up from that.
Yeah. So and so maybe it's the part of the schedule as well. You've got Pebble Beach in there. You've got Torrey Pines in there. Torrey Pines got in there twice, which took the place of Riviera, which would normally be there if it hadn't been for the fires and all this California Rises neat thing has come out of that. That's what I'm wondering is it, because of the championships, because the last 3 weeks of the schedule on the West Coast, excluding Mexico, we're going to be Pebble Beach, Phoenix, and then Riviera. Those are pretty iconic events, and Phoenix speaks for itself. But when you talk about Pebble Beach and Riviera, you're talking about two of the greatest golf courses that have been played upon. So I'm just wondering if maybe that has something to do with the other thing, Danny, is that Tiger Woods was involved in the Genesis, even though it was played down at Torrey Pines. His mother passed away, so it's, something really interesting. Our dads died on the exact same day, May 3rd, 2006.
Yours and Tiger's.
My dad and Tiger's. And John Cook, when I was playing, I qualified for the U.S. Open that year. I was 46 years old. And John Cook said, "Hey, Tiger's dad died. Would you mind writing him a note?" He would, so I wrote Tiger a note. His mom died 3 days from when my mom died. It's just crazy how, I don't know what that is, but I do know the feeling, and I know that he's really struggling, and it's tough. But Danny, he was on TV at the Genesis for his tournament, his foundation, and anything he does boosts. And the back nine at Torrey Pines for the Genesis this year was some of the most compelling golf we've seen in a while.
Yeah, it was.
Maverick McNeely, 13 under par after 9 holes, and Ludwig just absolutely went out and grabbed that tournament by the throat and brought it home. And it still was pretty close because he had to make that 7-footer on 18. So maybe that's it. But Danny, they're fickle. I don't know. You've been involved in ratings, with prior careers and stuff like that. And I just have a hard time making hide nor hair of them.
Winning helps.
Yeah.
Winning helps everything.
Yeah,
so that's going to boost your ratings. But you mentioned Aubert, having big names, having Rory play, having Scotty Scheffler play in these events. casual fan will stop and watch and say, I hear so much about these guys. I want to watch them.
Yeah.
And the golf fans like us, it's great if they're in contention because you're going to see them play a bunch. You're going to see their shots.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, it's got to be. Well, and look, those are marquee names.
And that's my point.
And you had Rory winning at Pebble. Doesn't hurt at all.
Nope.
We had Thomas Dietrich winning at Phoenix, but most people are tuned in for a different reason at Phoenix.
It's a party.
It's a party.
It's not
golf
like normal golf.
It's a sidebar. Over
That's
there.
right.
And then you got and then you've got Aubert winning, down in San Diego with Scotty Scheffler right in the mix the entire time with an incredibly I don't want to say precedented, but unpredictable 76 on Saturday, which we hadn't seen in a couple of years.
Time, yeah.
Wow.
Long time.
Yeah.
Did guys, when they were on tour and they're on the Florida swing right now, did players enjoy this part of the swing
they
of golf?
love the Florida swing. Most of the guys, there's not a huge contingency from the West Coast. They're just not. Now, there are, Patrick Cantlay is a West Coast kid. Xander Schauffele is a West Coast. So we do have some really good players, but majority of my generation of guys came from Florida and Texas and that sort of stuff. And they loved getting back, and they love playing in Florida.
You have the Players' Championship coming up.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got Arnold Palmer's event, so that's all part of the Florida swing as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's fun. And then, Danny, before you know it, the first major of the season will be here, the PGA Championship. You and I do still complain that there's not a major in August, but there's one in May now.
That's right.
So that's okay. That'll be fun. And I love the fact that you go Players and then you go PGA Championship, then you go right to Augusta. I think that's pretty cool.
All right, that's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Brian Maine coming up, the director of golf at Whitmoor, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Dan Politis, PGA golf professional, and you are listening to Golf with Jay Delsing and Danny Mack. I listen every week.
A professional golfer, as you watch on TV every Sunday afternoon, never ventures onto the course without his trusted caddy. This was true for me for my entire career. I want you to think of Powers Insurance as your insurance caddy that you never had. Just as my golf caddy helped me to assess risk on the golf course, Powers Insurance can do the same for you in your busy and complicated life. Tim Davis, COO at Powers Insurance, did exactly that for me and saved me over 50% on one of my coverages. A good insurance risk advisor can help you know when to take a chance or when it may be smarter to take a little more club. Give the folks at Powers Insurance a call and get a caddy for all of your insurance needs. Call them at 314-725-1414. That's 314-725-1414. That's Powers Insurance.
Golf with Jay Delsing is presented by People's National Bank, Powers Insurance, and Pro-Am Golf. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
As you know from hearing Danny and I talk about Marcone for the last 3 years, you know how philanthropic they are. Whether it's their undying support for first responders, the backstoppers, or our wonderful military heroes, Marcone is leading our community in supporting the police, fire, first responders, or the military. From Wreaths Across America to the Marcone First Responders viewing deck at the Stiefel Charity Classic, Marcone is there, making a difference in our community any way they can. That's Marcone, the largest supplier of General Electric parts in North America and proud supporter of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hi, this is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center. At FGLC here in Kirkwood, we feature a double-decker driving range, 2 large grass tees with Tahoma Bermuda grass. You want to work on your short game? We have a short game area too, which features a 20,000 square foot green, 3 bunkers, and Zoysia surrounds. Also at Family Golf and Learning Center, don't forget about our 9-hole par 3 course, the indoor TrackMan simulators, and our performance center. If you're looking for the best golf instruction, regardless of skill, we can help. Find out more at FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
Okay, so you've heard me talk about the best community bank in St. Louis. Yes, that's People's National Bank. With over 17 locations throughout St. Louis and the Metro East and a staff of local St. Louisans, People's National Bank has you and your family covered for all of your banking needs. But that's not all. People's National Bank has everything you and your business could ever need. Business checking and business savings accounts? Yes. Business credit cards and employee services? Yes, you can count on those too, and much, much more. Remember this name, Jason Rantham. This local bank president is here to assist in any way possible. His personal cell is 314-974-2243. That's right. Call the bank president on his cell, and he will take great care of you. People's National Bank prescribes to the golden rule. So call Jason today and see for yourself. People's National Bank is here for you and all of your commercial banking needs. That's People's National Bank.
This is Barrett Jackman of the Blues. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing, and we continue with the show with the director of golf, Brian Maine, at Whitmoor Country Club. That's Jay, I'm Dan, and Brian, thanks for coming in. We certainly appreciate it.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Brian, Danny and I are focusing so much more on some of our local rock star pros like yourself that do so much for the community, so much for the game. And one of the things I know that's near and dear to your heart is the PGA Hope program. Can you first tell our listeners again what that is and tell us how and what it means to you?
Sure. So, PGA Hope, the Hope part is helping our patriots everywhere. That's kind of the that's the acronym. That's what it spells out, and it's one of the big, what I'll call philanthropic arms, and under the umbrella of PGA Reach. And the program started in the Gateway section in the year 2011. In 2011, I was invited to a meeting at the PGA show in Orlando. Josh Riley at the time was our executive director, and I was also with Allie Wells at the time. And so I went up there, and this meeting was attended by about maybe about 30 to 40 individuals. I was sitting next to two gentlemen that had prosthetics. But it was pretty much an hour and a half of PGA professionals giving their testimonies, as well as a lot of these vets talking about how golf had saved their lives. And the one story that hit me in particular was a golf pro that said that he was giving a clinic to these vets, and at the end of the practice range, he had a gentleman that was with his wife, and he was in a wheelchair, and he was trying his darndest to hit a golf ball. One arm trying one way, the other arm trying the other way, and he kept missing. And so the PGA Pro went over to him and tried to help him. And once again, it became a little bit of a struggle session. And so the PGA Pro said, "I'll be right back. Take your time, relax." And but he walked away, and he was helping somebody else, and he kind of turned and he saw the guy in the wheelchair take a couple more swings, miss, but then he went ahead and he topped one about 10 to 15 feet. And with that, he wheeled his wheelchair over to the end of the range, far end, and he just started to cry, and his wife was crying with him. And the PGA Pro thought, "Oh my goodness!" And he walks over toward him to see what if there was a problem. And you could see, both of them were sobbing. And the wife looks at the PGA Pro and says, "No, you don't understand. He thinks he can do this now. just by hitting that one golf ball. And from there, I was in. I was just, I was,
story.
I was like, tell me what I need to do. And from there, we went ahead and had a meeting at the VA, at the VA down at Jefferson Barracks. We met on a very historic stage. On that stage, Bob Hope, Bing Crosby had been on there. But we developed the HOPE program, and what started out as 12 vets has now grown into over 300.
Why do you think golf does that for the vets? What is it about the game of golf that gives them relaxation, a sense of doing something rewarding, those kind of things? What is it about golf that does it for these vets?
Well, it's number one, the one thing, and I'm an Air Force brat, and I know that growing up as an Air Force brat, there's many of these men and women in the military that are very what I'll call regimented. They get up in the morning, they eat their breakfast same time, that type of thing. But what this does is golf kind of like gives them that relief and kind of like that sense of purpose. It's such a great game, and kids get hooked on it just as much as an older person. But these people that have, and these men and women, they're heroes is what they are, but they've given so much, and it's that golf is a relief to them, and it's fun.
It's an outlet.
And not to mention that, but if you've ever come to any of these HOPE clinics, it's amazing just how many, how the camaraderie is. You see them in their groups. That's one of the things about the PGA and the PGA professionals that are involved with the HOPE program is you establish these relationships and you really form a bond with them.
It's really interesting because I've done some work with David Faherty's Troops First and met some of these true heroes. They really, truly are heroes. Some of the greatest attitudes, Brian, that I've told Danny this, I've met a lot of people, but the most positive can-do attitudes are these men and women heroes that come back, and a lot of times they're horribly disfigured and no arms and legs and shrapnel and all sorts of body parts missing. But they say, what I've heard them say, Danny, to your question was, it gives them this purpose to do something. They have so much trouble filling their days. Because like you said, everything was regimented. At 6 a.m., I'm having breakfast. At 6:30, I'm running. I'm doing this, and their days are full. And then they come back, and it's really a struggle for these guys, because these men and women, because they don't feel like there's a spot for them somewhere. And they say that golf just fills this beautifully, as do some of these service dogs and things like that help a lot.
Yeah, and the one thing about a military person and these soldiers and we'll refer to them as heroes, is they want a challenge, and golf is purely golf is purely a challenge. And just like the gentleman in the wheelchair, just to hit one golf ball was almost like accomplishing a mission. And you just there's 23 suicides that happen every single day from anyone that has served and is as a veteran. That's way too many young men, young women, and older vets as well. So.
Brian Maine is our guest, director of golf at Whitmoor Country Club. We're talking about, though, the charitable side that Brian is involved with. I'm assuming you get more out of it maybe than those that you're helping. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer that every person you meet's a gift, and a lot of people that know me have heard me say that. You never know what in that exchange that you're going to be receiving, as well as what you're going to be giving. And I will tell you that the relationships that I've established with a lot of these men and women are just unbelievable, what they do to me and they do for me. I get to know them just a whole lot more. I'll pray with them. I'll do whatever I can for them, because once you get to know them, you'll walk a mile, many miles for them. So,
Brian, the thing that I came away with the very first time, it was kind of a little, I hate to say slogan, but just catchphrase was freedom isn't free. And when you look at what's happened to these heroes when they come back, you certainly understand. Danny and I think about it all the time. We're able to do this show. We're able to go play golf. We're able to chase our kids around, and all because these guys, these men and women, made some of them the ultimate sacrifice. And there's something about their spirit that is so different, that military mindset, that greater cause mindset that, this country means so much to them. And I think that is, to me, that's the thing that touched me the most right away.
Sure. That you can go back to the greatest, what they refer to as the greatest generation. These gentlemen that fought in World War II, and just talking to, when I was the pro at Scott Air Force Base, talking to a lot of these officers, as well as a lot of the servicemen and women there, that, war has evolved. It's become a lot more horrific. Not that it wasn't horrific for anyone that landed on the beaches of Normandy. It all the way up until now, but the wounds, both mentally, if you listen to some of these Iraqi, Afghan war vets, some of the stories that they would tell are just horrific, and that affects them both mentally. They may come back a perfect specimen physically, but inside they're emotionally scarred, and you don't see those scars. And a lot of times, that leads to the alcoholism, the drug abuse, and golf is one of those things that will go ahead and help rescue them.
Brian, do you have like a favorite story that stands out where golf has really helped an individual, and it's one that's really close to your heart?
Well, yeah, one of the vets, and this was early on, one of the vets that I got to know, he was actually Saddam Hussein's personal jailer, and so anyway, he had a friend, and he had never played golf, never knew golf, but he had a friend that was killed in one of the convoys, and he knew that his friend had a dream at their base that they were at. He was going to go ahead and make this makeshift practice range, and it was just out in the middle of nowhere. Put down a couple mats or clear some areas. He actually had like this bulldozer that he was using to go ahead and flatten the place out. But anyway, when his friend was killed, he decided he was going to go ahead and take up that baton, or pick up that baton where it had been dropped. And so one day he is in his little trailer there, and if you've, a lot of these guys are in like a barrack type trailer situation that'll go ahead and keep cool. It's air conditioning, but there was a knock on his trailer door, and there was one of the officers came in and said, "Hey, look, there's a gentleman here that would like to see you, like to meet you, and wants to talk about your work you're doing here on this practice range." And he had asked, he said, "Well, who is this?" And he said, "Well, it's a man by the name of Tom Watson." So,
okay.
So Tom Watson, made the trip, and with meeting Tom Watson, it's really kind of like lit a fire under him to go ahead and learn a little bit more of the game and that type of thing. So, anyway,
it's pretty amazing. I do have a question about, if somebody walks in and they are an amputee, or they're in a wheelchair, or whatever, they're missing limbs, which you have dealt with, how do you get them to, serious question, how do you get them to hold a golf club and stand to hit a golf ball, or sitting to hit a golf ball, those kind of things? How do you just introduce them initially to the game?
Well, a lot of the vets that we come in, and we do, the PGA professionals are trained, and every year we have somebody from PGA Hope nationally that comes in. They do like this all-day training session, and it's kind of like an adaptive golf seminar that you learn to go ahead and deal with anyone from who is deaf, who is blind, but also someone dealing with a prosthetic, someone dealing with loss of limb. And learning how to teach those individuals. It's gotten so much that it becomes more of a role playing now that the seminar, you're actually having to hit golf balls with just one arm. You're actually having to hit golf balls with a bandana over your eyes so you can't see.
It's amazing.
So anyway, most of the guys and girls, they're completely trained at this. And they do a wonderful job of evaluating, and once they evaluate, then we go ahead and we start looking at equipment needs. Someone that hits a golf ball from a wheelchair is going to use a golf club that's half a club shorter. If it's 36 inches, it's going to be an 18-inch club just to allow them to take that one-arm swing. But you're looking, there's people that are hitting shots from their wheelchair or their adaptive cart, so they're hitting from a seated position. Now, obviously, you can't have a golf club that's too upright, so they'll go ahead and take a golf club and flatten it out so it kind of like matches their plane.
It's really interesting because do you remember Denny Walters, who was injured, Danny, in a cart accident and became paralyzed from the waist down, but did a wonderful clinic in an adaptive. He had his own golf cart, and on the side, and on the side of it, it had a chair kind of apparatus that would swivel, and so he would actually sit on the side of the cart, and he could hit it. I mean, and it was really impressive. And then with some of the David Faraday stuff that I've seen these devices, Danny, where if you have, let's say you have a prosthetic arm, and they'll have this device that holds onto the grip with one hand, and then they put it on the other. I've seen all sorts of different things that, from a creative, adaptive standpoint, I was like, wow. And then these men and women have figured out how to hit it, and it's really cool.
Yes, and it's really they've gotten quite innovative on a lot of these things too. Whether it's a strap, there's actually a driver that you're carrying a live 22 round with you, that you go ahead and take that 22 caliber round, put it in the driver head, place it right behind the golf ball. And without swinging the golf club back, you just go ahead and place that golf club at the head, right at that golf ball, and it'll knock it out there 180 yards.
That's called power golf. The driver. Steve, I think PGA professional Steve, I think his name is Fluke, is running that organization, and these power golf clubs are absolutely spectacular. We took one out to the range at Norwood Hills, and I was just fascinated by how you could adjust the distance, and it hit it way straighter than anyone I ever hit. I can tell you that.
Yes, yeah, it's one of those, and we've got a couple of the vets that have them, and it's almost like a badge that they get to wear because number one, it's loud, and it's loud, but it's also just pretty effective. So,
tell us briefly. We know that Concert Golf has come in and kind of purchased Whitmoor, but things are. I've heard nothing but really, really positive things about Whitmoor, about Concert. Give us kind of like a state of the union for Whitmoor Country Club.
Sure. Well, I tell you what, Concert Golf came 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. They're based out of Lake Mary, Florida, which is just a tad bit north of Orlando, but they're now up to, I believe, 38 clubs. They're acquiring different clubs all over the United States. They go from coast to coast right now. But ever since Concert has come in, they've been nothing but they've given us great resources. They've empowered us. they've done just a tremendous job of injecting money. You know, there's a lot of these management companies, and this goes way back when I was a younger professional, a lot of these management companies that were notorious for milking the facility dry, and then they're leaving and go on to greater things. So it's almost parasitic in its nature, but what we've seen so far is Concert coming in and just injecting money. We have a brand new lower level renovation right now that they're completely gutting the lower floor, adding 2 simulators, an updated bar and restaurant menu, and it's now become kind of like a big buzz to the facility.
That had been talked about for quite a while, I think, hadn't it? Brian, I think when I had lunch with Bill and Andy over there a while back, and there were some ideas about that, but then it was always kind of like, gosh, where are we going to come up with the money? Because it's quite an endeavor.
Yeah, and there's been some attempts in the past, but they've kind of been, and this is in no shape or form an insult, but they've kind of been Band-Aids, and they've been improvements, but this is really, really, this is not going to be a Band-Aid. This is going to be a renovation, and with 2 simulators going at the same time, an updated menu, an updated bar, it's going to be a happening place. So,
and you get to work with Bummer. Bummer's our
guy. That's what we can't let you go before we talk about Bummer. We got to give him props.
Yeah, Bummer is kind of like the big kid on the property, and
that's a great description, Brian.
I will tell you, if Bummer will always give you the shirt off his back, and he's passionate about people. He's passionate about doing, it's you can't do a half job when you're either working with or working for Bummer, because he's going to require that the job is complete, and the job is 100% satisfaction. So,
Brian, what's the best way to get a hold of you about what you're doing, your charitable efforts, but also what's happening at Whitmoor Country Club?
Well, you can always reach out to me at 636-926-9622. My extension is 140, and you can always go ahead and reach out to me about that. And with some future work coming up with Concert Care and that charitable arm, I'm hoping to get something big started there as well.
Awesome stuff. Hey, thanks for coming in studio. We certainly appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Director of Golf at Whitmoor Country Club, that's Brian Maine, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
I want to thank Whitmoor Country Club for rejoining the Golf with Jay Delsing show. You may recall Whitmoor and our good buddy Bummer, alongside top shelf director of golf Brian Maine, were one of the very first sponsors of our show almost 7 years ago. So welcome back, my friends. We love having you. Whitmoor Country Club is one of only 3 country clubs in the area with 36 holes of championship golf to offer its members. And golf is not the only thing Whitmoor Country Club has to offer. Got a great pool, tennis courts, or you can enjoy fabulous meals at their many dining options. I'm thrilled to tell you Whitmoor has announced the first Annika Women's All-Pro Tour event scheduled this June 18th through 22nd. The St. Louis Women's Championship will help benefit PGA Reach, the Backstoppers, and Our Ladies Inn. To find out more about the tournament, visit AnnikaTourSTL.com. That's AnnikaTourSTL.com. To find more out about Whitmoor Country Club, call 636-926-0185. That's 636-926-0185, or visit them on the web at WhitmoorCC.com.
This is Chris Nagel. And you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion.
Golf with Jay Delsing is presented by Family Golf and Learning Center, Jerseyville Carpet and Furniture, the Gateway section of the PGA, and Marcone. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
The game of golf is booming in popularity. All of our measurables are at or near all-time record levels. Remember this name for any and all of your golf needs. It's Pro-Am Golf. You need lessons? Tom DeGrand continues to provide our area with top-level instructions. His 40-plus years of experience matter. What about a golf gift for that someone special in your life? Maybe it's shoes, clothing, or golf's latest tech. Yes, sir, Pro-Am Golf has you covered. This family-owned and operated business has been serving our community for the last 45-plus years. You can visit Pro-Am Golf at proamgolfusa.com or do like I do. Go over to the Brentwood location and meet the DeGrands yourself. You won't be disappointed. Pro-Am Golf for all your golf needs, or check out proamgolfusa.com.
This is Brian Maine, Director of Golf at Whitmoor Country Club, and you're listening to the Jay Delsing Golf Show.
Many thanks to Brian Maine, the Director of Golf at Whitmoor. Of course, he's a big proponent and helper and leader of PGA Hope. This is Golf with Jay Delsing, coming to you from the Car Shield Studios. That's Jay, I'm Dan. I loved our visit with Brian Maine. What a difference he's making with these veterans.
Oh, Danny, absolutely. You know, he's been doing this for a long time. And if you talk to John DePriest, who is just now recognized nationally for the winner of the Patriot Award, which is those PGA professionals that are helping our veterans in this Hope program, he will give Brian all sorts of credit and support and thanks for him, you know, making a difference for John DePriest to getting involved in it. And Brian Maine had encouraged John to stay with this and to keep going because it was such a worthwhile thing. So, you know, these guys are a team. All of them are. There's just a lot of neat things happening in our community, in our golf space, with these men and women. It's fun to be able to, and an honor really for us to be able to shine a light on them.
It's got to be an honor for you to be, great friends with David Faraday, but what David Faraday has done for our troops as well. And I know you've been a big part of that over the years.
Oh, it's been super fun. And now's another time where I've got more time on my hands where I can, spend more time with these guys. His thing is called the Troops First Foundation, Faraday's Troops First. And I don't know how many millions of dollars they've raised, but Danny, I've never met more positive men and women, more upbeat, more, they've got these physical wounds. They've got some of these psychological traumas that they've had to deal with. Yet you talk to them, and I mean, Danny, if they could, they would go right back. They just love this country so much. They love what they did, and they miss it. They really do miss it.
Our thanks to Brian Maine. Now, we get a lot of emails. I know you do. We get a lot of text messages. I know you do. We get a lot of tweets. I know you do. So one of the things that people ask about is short game. And short game has kind of been your forte, is it not?
I love it. I absolutely love the short game. You got to fire some stuff at me on the short game?
Circle drill. What do you got?
Oh, the circle drill. Well, I call it the clock drill, but it's basically the circle drill is for putting. Folks, we we talked about this pretty extensively last year, Danny, but it's a great time to bring it up now. So there's this drill is twofold. It works on your short putting, which will, if you feel confident, think about this, folks. If you feel confident in your short putting, how much more confident are you going to stand up over your 30-footers when you're, instead of trying to squeeze it in there so close, oh gosh, so I can either get a gimme or get it so close I can't miss. But you know that you're going to knock those 3, 4, and 5-footers in all the time, that those 30-footers are going to have a chance to go in. This is a trickle-down effect. So here's what the clock drill is. Get 4 balls. Start at 2 feet. I said 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to go back on that and say 2 feet, 3 feet, and 4 feet. Okay, so get 4 balls, put them around, equally paced around the hole. So you got 4 balls around the hole. And go through your routine, whatever it is. Don't have one, figure out one, and go through your routine and tap those four 2-footers in. Okay, now take those 4 balls and make them 3 feet from the hole. Okay, and so basically the drill is this. We got 4 balls around the hole. We got to make 4 2-footers in a row, 4 3-footers in a row, and then 4 4-footers in a row. Here's the caveat, Danny. You miss once, you got to start over.
Ouch.
Owie.
I'd be out there for hours, buddy.
Danny, I have been out there for hours, and here's the thing. Once you miss, all of a sudden this thing's got your full attention. Because you're like,
a little pressure put on you.
Well, that's the second fold. So it helps a great deal with your short putting. The second thing that is so beneficial is that it helps with your concentration, because you're dealing with a fear, you're dealing with accomplishing a goal, you're dealing with all of similar ideas, thoughts, fears, and things that creep in while you're out there playing. And that's why it's important to practice something in a similar fashion that you're going to experience, Danny, when you're going through trying to win your club championship, trying to take a couple bucks off of me like you try to do from now and
never happens. But I try.
Happens, yeah. And so that's what
I know you're happy.
That's what it's got to be. That's what it's got to look like.
All right, the gate drill.
Yeah, the gate drills.
You like this one?
I do. I like the gate drill. So the gate drill basically consists of having, I've seen it mostly with tees, but you can put other objects, almost like pencils. You can do. I've seen knitting needles used, Danny, back in the day when we didn't have a lot of the different sort of gadgets that are already kind of pre-done for you. But it's basically there's a boundary just to the right, to the toe of your putter, and just to the heel of your putter. And when you swing your putter through with the ball sitting in the center of that gate, you got to split the difference and get that putter swinging squarely through that gate. So, you know what, Danny? What's cool about bringing all of these up is that the various drills will help various golfers. You know, so some people might go, I hate the gate drill. And other people might go, man, the gate drill is incredibly significant for me, and it's really helped me. Now, what you can also add to the gate drill are some of these templates that you have that'll help, guide the path of your stroke a little bit and help with some of your aim points. Aim point. I don't mean aim point the drill, but aim points in your brain where you're like, yeah, this is, this ball needs to be on the right edge, and I'm going to start it over here. And so you can incorporate that on the gate drill as well. But there's so many good ones, Danny. Folks, I would encourage you to just find one that seems like this. I like this.
Yeah.
This is going to help me. And if you'll spend the time, Danny, doing it, you're going to get better. You just are going to get better.
Let's talk about chipping.
I love it.
Pitching to targets.
Yeah.
You do that a lot?
I do. In fact, Danny, that's the entire basis of my short game. I pitch a ball to a target, a specific target. Back in the day, when my daughters were younger, I would actually take their hula hoops out and put them on the green. And so I am trying to pitch a ball and land it in that hula hoop, Danny, at a certain height. And why that's significant, Danny, is like let's say I've got my 58.5 degree wedge, which is my most lofted, or I have an 8-iron. If I make the same swing, the 8-iron obviously is going to come out so much lower with a lot more run. That's why the trajectory is so significant, because you can't just hit the slow screamer and land it in a spot where you're you're playing for a high soft one to land and expect the balls to go the same distance. They just won't.
How about the up and down drill?
Yeah, so the up and down drill is really cool. So you get folks, you grab, you can do this with as many balls as, I don't know, hell, you could do it with 9 balls, okay? Or you could do it with 1 or 2, and you throw them out in the rough. And so here's how the game goes. You throw the first one out in the rough, and that's the first ball, and you're going to try to get that up and down. And a par is, well, it all depends on what your skill level is. So what I used to consider par is an up and down. If I got it on the green and in the hole, that was par. Most people would probably go, that would be like a half a birdie. Not a full birdie, but a half a birdie. And I'll tell you why that's significant, because what you want to do, folks, is you want to start with a target score in mind. And so that means, and you're like, Delsing, you can't make a half a birdie. I know, but if you could give yourself a couple of 2.5s, it works out to be a 5, and it's lower than the 6 that it would typically be if it's a birdie. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what you do is you go out and you keep score for 9 holes and see how many did I hit. If I can get it up and down every time, for me, that's going to be par. Chipping the ball in is a birdie for me. I think that's an elevated, kind of an extreme scale. So I would say don't do that, because that's going to be disappointing for you, and you probably don't chip that many in. But so getting the ball up and down would be like making a half a birdie. So if you play 9 holes and you get half of them, up and down in 2, and you get all the others in 3, you don't scull any chips, you don't have any 3 putts, things like that. You've shot an under par. That's pretty darn good for 9 holes.
Do you have a drill, by the way, for uneven lies?
Absolutely. Well, there's a formula that you have to understand, first of all, Danny, for a drill. The best way to do these is to go get them. And what I mean by that is go seek them out and start practicing them. And here's the first couple of things you have to do. Imagine if we're just standing on the middle of the driving range and we're going to hit some pitch shots, Danny. So the lie's perfect. The lie is level, and we've got our most lofted wedge, and we're going to hit some pitch shots. Okay, great. That makes sense to everyone, right? Now we go, and we're over here, and we're looking at some of this, I've hit my ball in this spot, and now the ball is way above my feet. Now, you're not going to be able to practice that on the driving range anywhere. It's actually not an easy shot to practice, period. How do I do it? What do I do? Well, the first thing you have to do is you've got to choke up on the golf club, because the ball is above your feet. Now you need a shorter shaft because the ball is actually closer to you. That's how we're going to try to handle this. Maybe I don't bend over from the waist quite as much either, D. So I'm not physically as close to the ball as I typically would be if it was a normal lie, but it feels more normal because I've actually pushed my upper body back away from it a little bit. Those are 2 components that can help tremendously right off the bat.
I love this stuff.
And then we got to, well, it's just, what happens is that when you played as much as I have, this stuff just kind of clicks in.
Yeah.
But for the folks that don't, they're like, oh man, that's a lot to remember. And it really is. It's a lot to remember. And so, Danny, what if you get the ball that's below your feet? That's really tough, because you cannot make your 60-degree wedge or your most lofted wedge, you can't make that shaft longer. So, Delsing, what do I have to do? I've got to bend my knees a little more, and I've got to bend over from the waist a little more to get closer to the ball so that shaft can work. And that is uncomfortable for someone like me. I'm 6'5" and very leggy. That is uncomfortable for me. But then get in there and try and hit those shots. And then what I recommend doing, start with a ball in the middle of your stance and try to work on getting good contact. And if there's a shot, whether the ball's above your feet or below your feet, that you've got to hit high and soft, move the ball forward. Move the ball forward and try to hit that thing with a little more loft, a little softer. But you've got to make those 2 adjustments, Danny, that I talked about before you even start, to give yourself a chance.
Speaking of golf balls, time to give some away.
Let's do it. Let's give some away. Danny, we have the tailor-made, first of all, thank you, Jeff Thornhill and the TaylorMade Golf Company, because we are giving away a dozen Tour Response striped balls. Okay, they are the easy alignment. They're the it's called the new 360-degree clear path alignment technology, Danny. It's really super cool. They say it's more visible. I don't know. I can't see anything anymore. I'm half blind. I can't see anything anymore. Somebody said, I'm playing this colored ball. I'm like, what color is it? And they're like, I couldn't tell. It's sitting in the grass. It looked yellow. He said it was green. I'm like, why would you play a green ball in the green grass? That doesn't make any sense.
You're a ball hawk, though. You find them.
I like finding golf balls.
You do.
I like finding golf balls. Like, if I play with you, I take it personally. I don't want to lose any ball. I don't want you losing any balls.
That's why you're always looking for balls.
I look for balls for you. So it's cool. This is the urethane ball. It is absolutely so the urethane cover is a little bit harder than the TP5 cover, but is incredibly durable. And folks, I'm just going to say this. I don't think you're going to be able to tell the difference. And by the way, they're free. They're tailor-made. They're good golf balls, and they don't cost anything. Send me an email, jay@jdelsinggolf.com, and we will, on our next show, Danny, we will announce who we sent our first month worth of golf balls to. This is fun. I always love reaching back out to the folks that have sent me an email. I got an email from a guy in Utah the other day. I got an email from a guy in Scottsdale. I don't know if they're listening to us on the app or on a sundial somewhere. I don't know what's going on.
But they're listening.
I know. They knew we were giving away golf balls, so their name will be in the hat, and we will check them out.
All right, we've got some emails coming up with questions for Jay, and that's at jay@jdelsinggolf.com. You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Do you realize that the Gateway section and the over 350 men and women are here to serve you in any way they can? Whether it's running your member guest, getting the driving range prep for your next practice session, or maybe just you and your girl getting in a quick 9 and then dinner after work. The Gateway PGA professionals are here for you. I bet you didn't realize the Gateway section, one of the 41 sections around this great country, has been rated in the top 3 in many of the most important categories. Your Gateway, or Great Way section, as it's affectionately known, is here for you to help you any way possible. The Gateway section of PGA Golf Professional, here to assist you with all of your golfing needs. You can visit them at gatewaypga.org and make sure you look for some of these other cool programs. PGA Reach, the PGA Junior League, or the award-winning PGA Hope program that helps our veterans. That's the Gateway PGA of America, here for you.
Golf with Jay Delsing is presented by the Amateur Players Tour, Car Shield, the Dean Team, and Elevate Golf. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
I want to thank Whitmoor Country Club for rejoining the Golf with Jay Delsing show. You may recall Whitmoor and our good buddy Bummer, alongside top shelf director of golf Brian Maine, were one of the very first sponsors of our show almost 7 years ago. So welcome back, my friends. We love having you. Whitmoor Country Club is one of only 3 country clubs in the area with 36 holes of championship golf to offer its members. And golf is not the only thing Whitmoor Country Club has to offer. Got great pool, tennis courts, or you can enjoy fabulous meals at their many dining options. I'm thrilled to tell you Whitmoor has announced the first Annika Women's All-Pro Tour event scheduled this June 18th through 22nd. The St. Louis Women's Championship will help benefit PGA Reach, the Backstoppers, and Our Ladies Inn. To find out more about the tournament, visit AnnikaTourSTL.com. That's AnnikaTourSTL.com. To find more out about Whitmoor Country Club, call 636-926-0185. That's 636-926-0185, or visit them on the web at whitmoorcc.com.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. Brought to you by Car Shield and Doherty Business Solutions. Every Sunday morning from 8 to 10. It features top guests, tips from a PGA Tour player, and the latest news and notes from around the world of golf. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Hi, I'm Adam Betts, PGA professional and owner at Family Golf and Learning Center. We welcome golfers of all ages and abilities, from the junior golfer to the experienced players. From our indoor TrackMan simulators, large short game area, grass tees, and driving range bays, to our golf instruction, leagues, clinics, and camps, we connect you with every resource to reach your golfing goals. We look forward to helping you improve your golf game at Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf. Visit us at familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com.
Hey folks, we just opened the Jay Delsing Golf Shop. If you need anything golf related, you need a hoodie, you need a visor, you need a quarter zip. My daughter Gemma has spearheaded this effort, and I so appreciate all of her help. But we are live and we are ready to get you into some golf gear. Folks, know this: with every single purchase, I will be donating either to the Western Golf Association in support of the Evans Scholarship Program, or to Folds of Honor and the great Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney. So everything that you buy from me, we're going to make a donation to those great causes. Thanks for checking it out. It's jdelsinggolfshop.com.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing, rated as the #1 golf show in the Midwest. Now let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Coming to you from the CarShield studios as we head down the stretch of Golf with Jay Delsing. Once again, our thanks to Allie Wells, Executive Director of the Gateway PGA, and also Brian Maine, Director of Golf at Whitmoor and intimately involved with PGA Hope. It was a really nice visit with him. We get the emails, jay@jdelsinggolf.com, with some of the really interesting questions that we get. And one here talks about teeing it high, Jay, or not teeing it at all on a par 3. What is the preference that maybe a good golfer, bad golfer, pro golfer, what is the preference there on those types of shots?
Sometimes I'll be lazy when I'm playing with you, and I'll just throw it on the ground, but the tees at Norwood...
I see you normally do that.
The tees at Norwood of Zoysia, they're beautiful. The ball sits way up. In a tournament, Danny, I tee it up every single time. You want to know why? Because I feel like if you put it on a tee, why not?
Yeah.
Now, folks, one of the things I've seen people screw up is if you're hitting an iron shot, and let's say... a difference between an 8-iron, which is we want that ball teed up right on top of the grass. We just want it sitting nicely, not down, but not way up. And a hybrid. Okay, I can go for the hybrid being teed up a little higher. Okay, but for the most part, folks, if you're hitting a 6-iron, 7-iron, 8-iron, don't tee it up too high. Don't get it in. We do not want it 1 inch off the ground.
So you're advising, though, to use the tee.
Absolutely. Use the tee because you can. Absolutely use the tee because you can. Now, does it matter a tremendous amount for someone like me when I'm playing at Norwood and I'm playing all the time? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But every single tournament I've ever played in on the PGA Tour, I've teed it up on a par 3.
Well, I noticed that because you and I play a lot of golf, and normally you just drop it on the tee box and away we go.
Well, we also are not taking a whole hell of a lot of time.
That's true, too. But the Stiefel Charity Classic, I did notice that you were teeing it up, and I found, it really caught my eye that you were doing that.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, stat that you looked at during or after a round, and maybe advise somebody that plays a stat to look at as well.
Absolutely, Danny. This is crucial. So, folks, know your game. Okay, know your game. And I'm going to give you some specifics to look for. But the quickest way to lower your score for most handicaps is to hit more greens in regulation. Think about that. If you hit more greens in regulation, Danny, if you went out and hit 14 greens is a lot. I don't know how that just popped into my mind, but 14 greens in regulation, you're going to break 80 every day of the week. Every day of the week. You're going to make a birdie or 2 or 3 in there. You might have a 3-putt in there, but for the most part, it's what happens, folks, is that when you miss the greens, it's almost a certain bogey. Okay, and then if you don't chip it well, it's almost a certain double bogey. When you hit the ball on the green in regulation, the worst you're going to walk off of there is with a 3-putt, and it's a bogey. That's it.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, you might slop one in. Now, here's the other thing that we have to look for, and I said slop one in, I didn't mean it, but one might just fall in. I think the same way for myself. You know, the one year at the Stiefel Charity Classic, I slopped in about 4 putts that were over 50 feet long. So a couple of things. You definitely want to monitor your penalty strokes, okay? Because, Danny, we cannot have one swing costing us more than one stroke. And that means, oh, man, I hit that ball out of bounds, and now I got to re-tee, and now I'm hitting 3. So that first swing cost me 2 strokes, not 1. That's no good. We have got to eliminate that. The other thing is, so, folks, what we're looking for is to eliminate the big miss or the thing that is most catching you up that's screwing up your rounds. And here's the last one that we got to eliminate, 3-putts. Now, everyone that plays the game from this point forward is going to 3-putt. But let's just narrow that number down. Let's get better at it. Work on that clock or that circle drill. And let's find out where, like some guys might say to me, Jay, I hit the ball really well. I hit, more than half of my fairways and I hit about half of my greens, but I don't. Well, good. Let's work on our putting then. So for him or her, we got to work on our putting. For that person that isn't chipping or pitching the ball well, we got to work on that pitching a little bit. For someone that's a bomber, Danny, but hits 3 drives each day out of bounds, we got to work on that. So it's different for everybody else. Generally speaking, D, the quickest way to lower your scores is hitting greens in regulation.
I think an interesting topic here, and we're heading down the stretch, so a couple minutes, but the cover number, number it takes to clear an obstacle short of the green. So there's different ways of measuring it. I'm sure that people do. They whip out the radar, the gun, whatever you want to call it. They've got it on their watch. But that's not necessarily what you're looking at, is it?
No, it is not. Danny, this is a great point. So when you hear the occasional tour player caddy speak in the conversation, and they'll say, you've got 177 yards to the flagstick, but you've got 170 to cover. That means maybe it's a pond that guards the front of the green, Danny. Maybe it's just a bunker. But what that means is this ball has got to fly more than 171 or 170, whatever I said, or we're either in the hazard or the bunker, the penalty area, wherever, and that's no good. So that's what the cover number means. And Danny, when on the PGA Tour where they hide pins, they'll stick them 3 yards over a bunker. That cover number is everything. A lot of times, depending on what the club is, I'll actually try to hit it past the hole and maybe spin it back a little bit, And so because the cover number can get, so it's one thing if the cover number is guarding a bunker. Okay, so you hit it in the bunker, you still have a chance to either chip it in or get it up and down for par or birdie, whatever you're shooting for. But then if that cover number is over a lake,
you're in trouble.
Now you just did exactly what I just were telling the folks that are trying to improve their game not to do. And I made one stroke costs me more than one swing costs me more than one stroke.
I can tell you how I do it.
How do you do it?
I'm shooting at the middle of the green, just making sure I don't get in the bunker or hit that water that you're talking about.
It's not a bad idea.
It's not a
great idea either, but it's not a bad idea.
Every once in a while it works. Hey, our thanks to Brian Maine, Director of Golf at Whitmoor, for stopping on in. Also, Allie Wells, Executive Director of the Gateway PGA. Golf gives back. It gives back a lot. And I know you talk about that, and those are two guests that do that quite often.
Oh, yeah, Danny, and they spearhead those programs, and Allie and just taking care of all of us at Brian Maine with the great work that he's done with PGA Hope. And Danny, you're going to do another special needs tournament this year, and it's going to raise a bunch of money for some really, really great charities, and it's happening all over the place. That's what I love the most about golf. Not talking about how much money the players make.
Love doing the show. Always fun.
Buddy.
How do we end it?
Hit them straight, St. Louis.
Hi, I'm Adam Betts, PGA professional and owner at Family Golf and Learning Center. We welcome golfers of all ages and abilities, from the junior golfer to the experienced players. From our indoor TrackMan simulators, large short game area, grass tees, and driving range bays, to our golf instruction, leagues, clinics, and camps, we connect you with every resource to reach your golfing goals. We look forward to helping you improve your golf game at Family Golf and Learning Center, where we make St. Louis better at golf. Visit us at familygolfonline.com. That's familygolfonline.com.